welcome to the Silver Screen Show, where we talk everything about movies, films, and cinema. In tonight's episode, we'll be looking at some of the biggest films of this year: Guardians of the Galaxy, Alien Covenant, Sleepless. I don't know if you even call that a big film, and Lady Macbeth. And in addition, we've also got a new face joining us today, Hiftu.
Hello.
Do you want to have a quick word? Introduce yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm a huge film fan, which is why I'm on this show.
Good start.
So I'm on the right
Met
show.
the tick box criteria.
And yeah, really looking forward to chatting with these guys about the good, bad, and the ugly.
Really ranting. That's all we really do.
pretty much.
Mainly ranting.
Just getting right to it.
And we obviously also have our usual other host, Abu, and myself, Mo.
Right.
So without any further ado, let's get started. So let's start with the big one, the big box office draw. It cost about 200 million to make. That's only the production budget. Marketing budget, I imagine, is about 100 million more. And it's already raked in 630 million. So it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, directed by James Gunn, who also directed the first Guardians film, and starring your usual
ragtag bunch of heroes.
Yeah, that's a very good way of saying it. Ragtag bunch of heroes. We should show that shot now of them walking by. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Vin Diesel, obviously, as I'm Groot.
Paid by the word.
And Bradley Cooper, yeah.
Batista, man.
And obviously Dave Bautista,
Batista,
Yeah.
from my childhood. I'm so happy for him. I really am happy for him.
He could have been typecast as a wrestler failing, but he's
Easily
got
could have.
He's quit that
I remember
Yeah, exactly.
John Cena or Steve Austin being typecast in so many films before.
Bautista's got the chops. I did it quite well
yeah.
in this film when he get cracking pretty much. So
Absolutely.
So just to be clear, he is the guy like who.
He's Drax.
he's the muscle.
He's the
Yes,
muscle.
that's
He's the
what I
muscle.
thought.
Slightly
Guy.
dumb,
Yeah,
slightly
yeah.
socially unaware,
I got you.
but he's super strong.
So just to make sure, we both watched it.
I haven't
has
seen
that,
it.
So
Yeah.
she
It's
give us
fine.
up there.
You can ask all the questions,
So yeah,
all the curious
Guardians
questions.
of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah.
So the next part to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Why is it
So-
called Volume 2 to begin with?
Why is it Volume 2, and what
Abu.
happens, and what's so different about the first one?
Actually, yeah. Why don't you take it?
First one is where we meet all our heroes. They all come from different aspects of life. They're all basically like reaching dead ends of their lives, and they kind of get together. They're all people who are outcast from society, and they'll come together to make some sort of ragtag bunch of heroes, and they end up saving the world. And now this film follows on basically. So now they're using their new fame to get more jobs, because they're like bounty hunters. in a sense.
Jobs?
Yeah, they're like
God,
they
is
do
this
missions.
post-recession?
So they
Yeah.
do like they carry out little jobs for people and they get paid
Right.
money. They're like bounty hunters in a sense. So, and basically this film's key aspect is the fact that Star-Lord, our main hero, Chris Pratt, gets to meet his father,
Yeah.
who was kind of hinted upon in the previous film.
Yeah.
And this film really looks into that aspect
Mm.
among other
Yeah.
character arcs. So
Yeah, and I think one thing that really threads together all the different elements and the themes in the film is the theme of family, which, like Abu was
and Vin
saying.
Diesel in it is waiting to say family, like in Fast 8.
Oh my God, I was gonna say that. Yeah. In fact, at one point, Drax says, "We're a big family." I was thinking you couldn't look more like Vin Diesel other than now, mate, because you're bald, you're big, and you love your family. So, yeah, I mean, as I was saying, which is a good thing. Having a family background is always something that sells to every audience,
Yeah,
like
'cause I guess
children
it's
to
a family
big.
movie, right?
It is a
It's
family.
one of those
It
kind
is,
of all-around
yeah,
kind
it
of-
is some, yeah, there is
Like, there's
definitely
something for the
PG-13.
kids, there's something for the parents,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
teenagers,
got the jokes,
friends
it's
will
got
go
the
to watch
drama.
it.
So
And the jokes are understandable by kids as well.
yeah,
so
I mean,
It definitely is a family film, and which is why the first film made so much, right? It came out of nowhere.
I think what made the first film so great is basically it was so different to all the generic, like, it's pretty much the Iron Man, Captain America, they're all the same kind of superheroes. This was just so different, and it's a lot of fun. You
Yeah.
had a lot of throwback music, there's a lot of dancing,
Yeah.
jokes.
So is this one that, so in Volume 2, is this where it gets deep then?
Yeah,
This is kind of
I wouldn't say deep. I would say it delves more into the character aspects of
Okay.
the
But do you think,
film.
would you say it works? Like, is that what you expected?
That's the
to
$1
see
million
when you-
question. So
I
delving
like-
deep into that. Why don't you start
yeah,
then?
so I think
Yeah.
characters like Yondu, he was like a side role in the previous film, has a real big role here, and he's like character development is amazing. So from a character who you don't really care about in the first movie, this movie you really get an attachment to this guy.
I'll second that. I think this character is definitely one of the best characters.
And also like character arcs like Nebula, who hates her sister Gamora, and there's a lot of names for her, it's like Gamora, Nebula.
Yeah.
So in the previous film, Nebula and Gamora are the sisters, and they hate each other basically.
Right, okay.
So this one kind of explains why there's this animosity between
Right,
them.
okay, so you're kind of getting to see like everyone's
Yeah,
backstory.
and you
a
kind of
little
feel
bit.
so. Oh,
Yeah.
now I see why she's got such a vendetta against her. Whereas in the first one, it was like, I hate you, I'm gonna kill you.
So then, would this like say? So I haven't seen the first
Yeah.
one either. I love films, really.
You're excused.
So I haven't seen the first one. So for someone like me or anyone who hasn't seen it, if they were to then go see Volume 2, not having seen the first one,
Oh, so I don't think.
would I feel like I wouldn't really get the jokes? Or I
Probably
wouldn't
wouldn't.
get the
The jokes you still get, because the jokes pretty much work on a great. And Chris Pratt's really good at delivering the
Yeah.
lines and stuff.
Yeah,
But
I think you wouldn't really miss anything. The first film is only good because
It's so different.
it's just so different. And the only connection from the first to the second is that at the end of the first film, there is an event that happens that then links back to the fact that the main guy, Star-Lord, his father must be something special, which is why in this film they then focus on the father aspect of his relationships and then develop the other characters surrounding it. Which is why you wouldn't really miss too much if you haven't seen the first film. But having said that, I doubt who hasn't seen the first film.
I mean,
But honestly, you love it. It's a great
I also
film.
love Marvel,
Is
really.
No, really, it is one of the best Marvel films. I think we ranked Marvel films at one time. We started with Iron Man as number
Yeah.
one, and then
I love Iron Man.
Winter Soldier, the second Captain America film, and then
Avengers?
immediately after that was Guardians of the Galaxy. Not
Avengers is
Avengers.
fun, but it's not like story-wise, it's not the most interesting.
Yeah.
as
You'd
these.
think that there isn't anything new in Avengers. I've seen that kind of mashup before, like everyone just fighting with each other. But this one, it's just so fun. And one of the best parts about this film, which is why the name Volume 2, are the music. So the first film sold me on so many music that I had never listened to.
Throwback 80s
Oh my god,
soundtrack,
some of the
Nice.
best soundtracks I've ever seen in a film.
So they incorporate it into
Yeah.
the storyline. His mixtape is called Volume 1.
Yeah.
In this film, he's got like the second tape. It's called Volume
Yeah,
2.
he's made
so
a new
Very
mixtape.
clever.
Having
But-
said that, the mixtape is not as good as the first, I would
think
say.
The first one was a lot more fun.
So if you had to compare it to the first one,
Yeah.
which one would you rate?
That was
as-
probably on the bad side of the things.
Yeah.
He wants to go
Yeah.
this,
I mean, if I'm being a bit more critical, I would say that the first half of the film, of this one, is quite boring. In fact, it's super boring.
I heard like the gags and like the jokes and all that was really good. And
Uh,
that's kind of
I
like-
would say-
the guys will be funny. Like
Yeah,
they're not
but-
gonna-
You know, it is funny, but what I would say is it doesn't fit the context. So I'll give an example. There's a scene where Nebula says that she wants to kill Thanos because her the 10% of the money she'll earn from killing him. I think I'm mixing things up. There is a scene.
That's
Sorry,
very
there is a scene. No. This is a good example of a counterpoint of why the jokes I think doesn't work. So there is a scene where Nebula is saying that I'll kill Thanos and that will give me
Thanos is
10%
bad.
off.
Right.
Thanos is the main big
Fine.
bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a guy asks her, "Oh, what will you do with the money?" And she says that, "Okay, I will use the money to." I can't remember now, but she
Okay.
says some really serious stuff,
Yeah.
right? My point is, she
Yeah.
says some really serious stuff, and immediately after that, the guy who asked the question
Cuts to
says,
one line or something.
"Ooh, sorry, I was thinking you'd buy a necklace or something." So the point is
Was that
that
meant to be a joke, this whole thing?
yeah. So the point is, the point is that she talks about something very serious because Thanos have been ruling over her and controlling her life all her, forever, right? And she now wants to kill her own father. But immediately after such a serious topic, the guy,
One-liner.
one-liner and breaks the seriousness.
Yeah.
I thought it's funny, but it doesn't fit the context of the seriousness you wanted to bring from the scene.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that thing goes on for nearly every one-liner that comes up in the first half of the film.
Too much. And I think what else I could say is Drax is very underused. He's literally just a comic relief.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
he in the first had a very good story arc, which everyone's seen the film. Basically, his family get murdered.
Yeah.
So in this, so there's a lot of emotion. In this one, he's just there to drop one-liner throughout the entire film.
Yeah.
Right. So,
And he doesn't do very much
so
fighting.
he
to be
doesn't
honest.
get like a backstory.
He's got the backstory, but in this movie, he's pretty much just there to drop jokes.
Yeah, his story isn't expanded any further.
Yeah, nothing at all. And I felt 'cause he's like the most action guy, like the muscle. And he's pretty much just chatting to another character the entire movie. So I think he was a bit underused.
And what they in fact do badly with him in and above the fact that they underuse him, is that they force a romance character with him, like someone he has to love.
Yeah.
And it
Even
was
he has
just
no
so
interest.
forced, yeah.
It's Chris Pratt.
No.
Oh wait,
No,
no.
this is Drax
Oh, right,
Bautista,
okay, sorry,
the
yeah,
wrestler,
right.
and
Yeah.
they introduce a new character called Mantis, and
They
they
can't spend a
just
lot of time together.
they just want to ship them together, just
Right.
out of no reason. Like
Okay.
there is no chemistry between them. I can see.
Yeah,
there is
he's like,
no
I don't
You
like
guys
you.
hate each other, really. We can all see it.
He sees it. I don't
In
like
fact,
you.
yeah. In fact, he says you're beautiful only on the inside. Things like that.
But one more thing before we probably wrap this one up. I have
Sure.
to say it needs a bit more adventuring in space. A lot of it takes place on the planet of the father, and kind of dragged on a bit. It's kind of I know what's going to happen because one of the characters does kind of hint towards everything's not as right as it should be.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, just jump to the end. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's quite predictable after a
And
point.
most of the movie takes place in the planet. I kind of like a bit. In the first one, a lot of flying around in space.
Yeah, I
that
guess
side
it
of it,
was
sci-fi.
Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy.
Yeah, it's only taking
You'd
place
hope
in
for
one
more
planet.
twists.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd hope.
So-
Yeah.
Not to take away from, I think the good sides of it. It has a good side, but it does have its bad sides. It's just not as fun as the first one. But first
So
one
you
has a
prefer
high
the first
benchmark.
one.
Yeah, if you're rating the first versus the second, how will
First
you
one
do it,
by
mate?
far. I mean, that's my review.
So if the
basically.
first one is 100%, how would you rate this one?
I'll put it in mid 80s, like 85 or something.
Pretty.
I liked it, but it was
I would
nowhere
say
near.
about 72%.
I mean,
Very,
72.
very exact.
I mean,
but yeah.
What's that 2%?
I think
Makes
it's the Yondu character that
Right.
really pulls it through.
Right.
So
Okay.
like that pretty much sums up my review. Is it's good but not as great. So it's good, not great. That's what
For me, if I want to sum it up, I would say passable. That's my review. It's a passable film. I think the director tried to do a lot more than I suppose he was given creative,
Reigns.
creative range to. So there are lots of areas in the film which are I can tell edited very quickly, very abruptly, and lots of backstories and like second plots, other plots running concurrently with the main one that didn't need to be there or weren't expanded the way it should have been, like the gold people.
Volume 3 is coming along, so
Yeah.
Oh, there's another one.
Oh, yeah,
God,
Oh,
better
it
catch
definitely
up.
will be.
when you're making billions,
Yeah,
man,
it's Marvel after all.
They've got the entire roster of films decided up to 2021, I think.
How do you know Volume 3? Like, is it something that happened at the end of Volume 2, which...
they've announced it, so it will happen.
They've already announced everything up to
Patience.
2021, so it's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, moving on from Guardians, we have our next film, which is Sleepless. One word, Sleepless.
We can make this one will be pretty quick. Don't worry.
Yeah, this will be very quick. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll put you to sleep. So this is directed by Baron O'Dar. Not someone I know of.
I had looked through his like Wikipedia stuff.
Yeah,
There's
he
not
hasn't
too
really
much on
done
there,
too
no.
much. So he's done a few films which weren't really that big, but I suppose this was one of his biggest films. The main draw in the film, obviously, is Jamie Foxx, who is starring in it, and Michelle Monaghan.
Mhm.
But this film, well, if I want to summarize this film is
Just a
about
quick plot line.
a quick plot line. This Jamie Foxx is
Sound
introduced as a bad cop, and in fact, the entire of NYPD is a bad cop. And
Everyone's corrupt.
They're all
yeah,
corrupt,
everyone
yeah.
is corrupt, and Michelle Monaghan is the only good cop who's trying to
Like internal
figure
affairs.
out. Yeah, she's trying to figure. Oh my God, so much internal politics going on as well. She's trying to figure out what's going on and who's the bad cop, and Jamie Foxx in between is also trying to do his shenanigans, and in between they get Jamie Foxx gets embroiled with a drug gang. They kidnap his son. He now has to recover his son.
Yeah.
That's how the story unfolds. But this film, if I want to start off with the review, is as run-of-the-mill as it gets.
It's generic.
And when I say as run-of-the-mill, you've seen this 10 times, even 20 times, who knows, if you're a film buff.
It's, I just think the character's just so boring. Our only shining star is Jamie Foxx. He's the one that actually really, you can tell he really cares about this one. He's actually one who actually probably gets into it. He's very like,
But even then, is he good?
I
like,
think he's
is
the
he-
best
is he,
part of this
like-
film. Like
yeah?
his character, he's the only one I cared about. Any other character on screen, oh god.
You
so-
actually cared about him?
Or in terms of the film, like all the other characters
Really?
are like Michelle Monaghan's character. She was
What about
just,
T.I. though?
oh no, he's corrupt. Sorry. He was in there. He says a few lines, but then he disappears, comes back at the end. But like Jamie Foxx is the only character that you really care about in terms of this film.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everyone else, all the
I think I
drug
cared
dealers-
more about the drug dealers than Jamie Foxx,
the
I'll be
drug dealers
honest.
was just like run-of-the-mill casino owners, a drug
But
dealer.
so is
fair
Jamie
enough.
Foxx. He's
So,
like the...
like,
typical bad cop as bad cop can be.
Yeah, but
Right.
like the main point of this film is that his son gets kidnapped, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
yeah.
So basically,
Yeah, so basically Jamie Foxx steals from a drug lord.
Yeah.
The drug lord now kidnaps his son so
Yeah.
that Jamie Foxx returns the drugs.
it's a good point. It's kind of like Taken.
So on a scale
So-
of 1 to 10, how taken is it?
It's like a bad Taken. It's like
It's like, yeah, it
I mean,
tries
I
to
don't think
resemble
the first Taken was good. We had this
Yeah.
conversation already before. Yeah.
It tries to resemble Taken
Mm.
in the sense that it's someone his child gets kidnapped, but Taken, the police officer, is obviously a good cop.
Mm.
Over here, he's a bad cop.
Well, to be honest, it does show at the beginning that he's undercover. Like the very first scene, you kind of know he's undercover. They kind of do a shot of his house and he's looking at this board of, faces and pictures. So it's obvious
Yeah.
to know that he's undercover.
Yeah.
So that's not really a spoiler because it's pretty much revealed at the beginning.
Mhm.
But what the problem is, they don't actually go much into what he's doing.
Yeah.
So one scene is like he's got like one of the officers like in his like control. So he could easily just say, "I've been on this mission. You got to help me out. Here's my officer. Here's my objective. Call back to the office. He'll clear me up." He just goes, "I've been undercover for 2 years," and that's literally what he says, and just
Yeah.
runs away. I'm like,
And the other person buys it.
she's just like,
That's
okay.
the strangest part. She buys it.
But as an audience member, even you don't know what that's about.
I
Like,
mean,
you also need
she's
to know,
like a
like,
senior internal affairs. So she could be like, "Who's your officer? What is your mission exactly? Give me some
it
details.
just
I
sounds
can
like these people
clarify."
don't speak to each other in their
No.
He's just
department.
like, he just gives a thing. I've been undercover for 2 years. The entire film. That's the only. Even to his wife, and his wife finds out I've been undercover for 2 years.
Yeah,
That's why the marriage is failing. I'm like, no, we gotta give a bit more reason than I've been undercover for 2 years.
I mean, yeah.
And that's pretty much his.
Now I was comparing this to The Departed, because there you've also got like rats and undercover cops everywhere. Yeah, but like if
Scorsese.
that is the if that is the like the shining star, this is like the
They also had like
Dark
a nightclub.
Star.
They also had a night like a club scene. It's just felt like a really bad John Wick. Like it's just the running.
oh yeah so one of the important points about this film, I would say one of the worst
Wow.
pieces about it, is the fact that this film looks like several short films stitched together. By which I mean that the director has seen other action films and he has the idea that if there is to be an action scene that comes after a chase, the chase has to take place in a corridor and the action scene has to take place in a kitchen where you've got hot like utensils and you've got kitchen knives.
It's all
And
too
that's the
convenient.
you've seen that so many times.
Convenient.
Like just me describing it, you can sense it. Oh, I've seen it so many times.
Convenient is a stab wound to get stabbed. At the beginning, when someone gets kidnapped, he gets stabbed. So fair enough. They kind of want to weaken the hero.
Yeah.
So, but it always flares up at the worst. So, like, he's just walking through a corridor and he's like, "Oh, my wound."
Oh yeah,
Fair enough. But then when he's fighting someone in the kitchen,
he
like,
forgets about it
Yeah,
completely.
Like,
oh, where's your wound now?
I mean, I can understand the adrenaline gets, but still, he should be like bleeding out.
Yeah.
But at the
I
most random
mean, if
time,
we're talking about being realistic, like,
Yeah.
come on, you told me
and
the plot.
he steals a suit randomly from like the laundrette, and it's like perfectly fit.
Oh yeah.
Armani suit. Like, well, he's randomly picked up a suit, man, and he perfectly fits suit.
If that only happened in real life.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah.
perhaps not one of those ones.
So it's mainly, but only good thing I'll say is Jamie Foxx's performance. He's the only character I really like. The rest of it is
Jamie Foxx is not good in this film.
no. Oh, I'm just saying.
I suppose he tries.
Yeah, he tries.
What I will give is, I suppose Jamie Foxx had a lot of creative input in this film, and I'm
What-
sure
what
he.
did- What did he?
I'm
He's
just
like the
thinking
man.
because
He's
he's
like
that
the
kind
man.
of he's
He's
that
the
kind of a
of
man.
the film, like,
Yeah.
he's saving everyone.
Whenever he does films like this, he's also always very vocal. Like I've seen from his interviews.
And also one more last thing before we move on. I have to
Sure.
like say like the cop who's corrupt is like so obvious, and like when Misha Mohan's character sits there and takes it is just so stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
How
spoil
stupid
it.
can
So
you
if
be?
you don't want to
Yeah.
know what happens, mute it.
Yeah.
But I don't really think he really care.
Yeah.
But
How stupid
I
can
mean,
you
you're
be?
selling
man?
it to me really well.
she's like, yo, she goes to her like partner, yo, we got this drug dealer, this drug lord, and this corrupt cop all in the same casino. Let's raid this place right now. He's like, no, let's go home and sleep on it and we'll do the paperwork. I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't suspect anything that your colleague is slightly corrupt?
Yeah.
Because this is like a massive operation. He's like, you know what? Let's sleep on it and we'll come back tomorrow. And like,
Does it not sound a bit fishy?
She does not suspect him one bit.
Yes.
So I'm like, yo. Anyway, yeah. So that's.
But yeah, other than that, I was just gonna say that it was just an embarrassingly bad film. That in fact, concern-inducingly bad, like comically bad. This film, I just don't get
Yeah.
how they come up with a
this
film
is the only
like
reason
this.
you put this in the show is just to rip into it, pretty much, isn't it?
Just the
So,
rant.
your review. Let's just sum it up.
My review is using F words doesn't make it a serious film.
Mine is Sleepless puts you asleep. It's just pretty dull.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
It's
if you're finding it difficult to sleep, one night,
Watch
put this film on,
Sleepless.
yeah, you'll fall asleep.
If you want
Got
to see
insomnia? Watch
or if you want to
Sleepless.
watch John Wick done really cheaply, watch this.
Or The Departed done super cheaply.
Or Taken
Yeah.
done really
Yeah, if you want to see the other spectrum
No,
of
just
John
like a
Wick,
cheap,
Anyway,
grotty, badly stitched together version
Exactly.
of.
to be honest, so I'll give it credit. It came out in a period of where there's no movies coming out, so it came out in a nice point.
even then it flopped.
So
Even
no,
then, I
but
mean,
in a sense, it's just
that's
there.
not good enough
It was,
reason.
it's there for me to, you know what, there's nothing else on, I'll watch.
I suppose it's good if you've got that unlimited card,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'll do. I'm like, there's nothing on, let's just watch this.
Make the most of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, well, you've got, I mean, yeah, go watch John Wick again. Or The Departed again instead of this.
Right.
Yeah, don't watch
I
this
can
film.
tell
Anyway,
there's so much love
I
for
think it's
that.
time to
yeah,
get on.
moving on from that, we've got our next film, which is Lady Macbeth, a film that's really raving. The critics are raving about. It's got universal acclaim in Metacritic.
How do you put this?
Nat-
It's not true.
Well, it does have universal acclaim. Yes. In Metacritic and 91% in Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
It's the
it's
film
pretty
directed
good.
by William Oldroyd, his debut, as well as starring Florence Pugh, which people are calling her star-making performance.
Mhm.
The film is not anything to do with Shakespeare, by the way. If you
I
are
was
going to the
Themes which are
film,
inspired
That
from
was my.
Shakespeare's work.
inspire is a
Yes.
very loose term
Yes.
here.
And it has been.
This film is actually an adaptation of a Russian book, a novella called Lady Macbeth of the Masenk. I can't pronounce that, but I suppose that's
Yeah,
what it is.
either, but it is
Set
an
in
adaptation
the
of
set in the 19th century. It's a period drama where a young bride is sold into marriage with a middle-aged man, and
Nice.
all hell breaks loose when she doesn't like it.
Right, so
Yes.
Hiftu, your time to shine.
Yeah.
If
I've seen the movie.
We
and-
haven't, so.
So let me fill you in. Yeah, I mean, incredible. I kind of knew what to. I knew that I was going to go and see something great, just from
The trailer.
Sort of
The
yeah, just
vibe.
from
The
the
trailer was
just from the
intense, wasn't
The trailer
it?
is
Yeah.
super intense, and the film. It's just I can see why critics love it because it's exactly the kind of British period film drama that you would expect to kind of have that impact. So it's set in the northeast of England, in Yorkshire, and as you said, it's about this woman who gets married off to this man who's twice her age, and
twice her age.
yeah,
Not old enough. Yeah.
well, yeah, no, I mean-
There's a Donald Trump joke somewhere.
well,
yeah.
twice her age. He's a lot older than her. That's what I know. And she's bored, and the film kind of
Bored.
takes you. Yeah,
Right.
and the way her boredom, the way that's kind of
That sounds
Pretty
a bit like Brick Lane, doesn't it?
a little bit.
It is
yeah,
a bit like
actually,
Brick
a little
Lane.
bit like Brick
Yeah,
Lane.
it reminds me of it.
Yeah. So the monotony of her life, like
Yeah.
it's so captivating to see how monotonous her life is.
Right.
If you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
I think that's so amazing when someone can do that. When someone can
And
engage
still
you
make
with
it
someone's
interesting.
boredom. Yeah.
Ah.
So is the husband in this movie like a bad guy, or is he just like how she
He-
interprets him?
I think he is just the kind of guy you would expect from like a landlord, kind of, you know,
Big
quite a
property
rich,
man, yeah.
affluent man
Yeah.
of the 19th century.
Wants a young
who,
wife.
yeah, so
basically.
he even says in the film, you know, my father bought you when he bought your
so
land
they
as
kind
well.
of,
Oh.
so he's
Your
like
land
the antagonist.
upon which
yeah.
a cow wouldn't even be fit to graze
Yes.
on, you know, so he's
Right.
comparing her
Charming.
to the land that they bought. Yeah, exactly, such a
charming.
charmer. I wonder why she didn't fall for his charm, but you know, so that's the kind of relationship that they have.
Right. And what happens then?
And so then what happens is, so he leaves, he goes on a trip, and she's then told that he's gone on this trip, and all of a sudden she realizes that, because he's told her not to leave the house. He's like, oh, I think you'll be better off staying, you know,
Oh,
within
really?
close doors. And she's like, oh,
Don't
yeah.
even leave the house.
Yeah, she's like, I like the fresh air. He's like, no, I don't think you do. I think you like staying inside the house. And she's like,
shall I not reveal too much of the plot?
so we won't.
I think those things are
So-
given
but
out
it
in the
starts-
trailer as well.
yes,
Oh,
so
is
when-
it? Okay.
Yeah,
so
they are
when he
given in the
leaves,
trailer.
That's
Okay.
when kind of the plot unravels.
Unravels,
Yeah.
okay.
So she meets one of the workers who works for her husband.
All right.
And that's when
Taboo.
things, yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, that
So that's
is
where
is only the beginning.
so that's when
Right.
That is only the beginning.
so that's when everything gets real, basically.
That's when everything gets real, and then her maid servant gets caught up in all the drama, and that's when you see, you know, a new side to Lady Macbeth.
So is there
So
anything-
is her name actually Lady Macbeth?
this is the main. This is
That's a
the.
good question.
Don't worry, man. IMDb is here too.
Oh man, actually, no, it must be surely.
Must be, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's talking about Lady Macbeth off somewhere.
Yeah, but now I'm wondering whether that was inspired.
I suppose they
from
only
the-
mention her first name, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't say
Actually, I
Macbeth.
don't remember. Damn, I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. I was just
But,
wondering.
Yeah, but I mean the
Her name is just
Macbeth thing.
Her name is just put
so
down as
you know-
Catherine.
Right.
Catherine, yes, Catherine.
just
Right,
Catherine
yes, that's
Macbeth.
right. Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if her husband's surname is Macbeth or
No,
Let's
no,
just-
no, her husband's surname.
Let's
is
just go
something
by it. Otherwise, it becomes
Anyway.
too confusing.
else. Exactly.
So,
and
what
so-
would you say you didn't like? Anything in this film which disappointed you? Because so far it's like raving.
Nothing. Okay, so
Yeah.
so nothing disappointed me. But what I did,
Mm.
which is what my friend didn't do, you know how I love reading the plots on Wikipedia.
Yeah. You did a prepping, man.
So my friend my friend did the right thing. She was like, I'm just gonna go into this like completely not knowing anything.
Wait, you actually read the plot before going to the film?
So I read the plot of the Russian version.
Okay.
So I read the plot for that.
Oh, so the original story,
Yeah, so I read
the
the plot for the
novella
original
is based
story.
on.
Yeah,
right.
I read the entire kind of breakdown of the synopsis for each
So
chapter.
why would you do that? That's like taking the
Because
mystery out of the.
I've been wanting to watch
drama.
this film for so long. I was like, no, I've got to do it. I've got to know what I'm getting myself into.
Oh, right.
And so the Russian story is really interesting, and it was really interesting to. I think kind of the good thing was that I got to see it on screen, and it was really interesting for me to see how they adapted that Russian story, which was set in Siberia, and then translated that into
An
the
English.
northeast of
Yeah.
England,
Yeah.
set in the Victorian era.
Right.
So I thought that was quite good. But the problem with that was that I'd read some stuff which I was expecting to happen in the film, or there were some things that happened in the film which I wasn't expecting.
All right. Was it a
Because
good
of the-
thing?
probably
or a
because
bad
of the
thing?
Some of
scenery.
it was good. Some of it was
Right.
good. But then there were some things I'd read in Wikipedia
Which sounded
didn't
very
happen,
interesting.
and I was
Right.
like, there was more room for
Oh,
that
right.
to happen. But it's not to say that it didn't take away from the impact. But I felt like if
Yeah,
the director
a
had
lot
more
of the
time,
yeah, a lot of the time,
then
what is written doesn't translate very well into a film,
I
right?
think-
So
sometimes,
maybe that may be a
but
reason.
I think they definitely they hit the adaptation. They hit the nail on the head with that. There was
Right.
no
Yeah, I
loose
think-
ends or
I was gonna ask like
Nothing
how
major.
much did it differ from like the novel? In a sense?
not
Not too
massively.
much.
No, like the main themes were they kind of kept to the.
I think we had this discussion with Ghost in the Shell comparing the original to the adapted version.
Oh,
Kind of
yeah.
They missed out so much stuff,
Yeah.
which could have made it good.
In
so-
fact, the complete theme of the
yeah,
story.
So
A lot of the times, the theme is the main thing about
Yeah.
a story when it gets adapted, right?
That was-
Rather than
that was an opportunity where they kind of dropped the ball and they lost all the things that made the original so charming. So you see in this one, you did a good job of transferring.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job. It was just the ending, which is different, slightly
Fair
different,
Right.
slightly different to the.
I'll go
ending
read it on
in
Wikipedia.
but it's
don't
still a
worry.
good, it's still a good
But
film,
still
right?
Good, still
Yeah.
good, still impact. And yeah, I mean, it was done on a really low budget. I don't know what the budget was exactly, but it was shot in something like 26 days, which
Right.
is pretty intense for
Yeah,
a
that
feature
is.
film.
Yeah.
And I remember reading that it was shot on a really low budget. So you never actually see you see a lot of the interior of the house. You never really see the outside of the
like-
house.
Oh,
They're
right.
only
So
filming-
yeah, exactly. So it's probably a dumpster, but they've somehow managed to make the inside
Right.
look nice. And then a lot of it is shot in fields and things like that. And one of the interesting things about it was that with a lot of period dramas, often they kind of romanticize the Victorian era
Mhm.
and they make it a lot more lovey-dovey than it actually
Yeah.
was.
Like Pride
I mean,
and
come on,
Prejudice.
Very much
let's
so.
be real.
They hardly
People
show
used
the
to have- People used
slaves.
to have a bath once a week.
Oh,
and,
right.
and that's even if you were.
They
if
feel
you
like the
were quite-
nitty gritty side of it.
Yeah, there was no central heating, there was no nothing. So of course you were only going to have a bath once a week.
Whereas in Pride and
Um,
Prejudice, all like happy
It's all
and
yeah,
you
and
know.
then but with this, they just kept it real. I mean, it was beautiful, but it was real, and it
Right.
was
Down to
it
earth.
was raw, exactly. And I think there was only like one or two musical scores in this, so it was very
Right.
much. So even when you sat there and you watched a scene, there was very little.
Wait, there's
actually,
mu-
there was no panning of the camera from one
Oh,
sort
right.
of side of the room to the other. It was
Just
very
catch
much.
on, there's musicals, there's songs in this.
No, as in
So
she's
what's the musical
meaning
score, like the
sound
background?
score.
Oh, yeah,
Background
yeah.
sound score.
Wait, where did it start?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just
They sang
kill
Japanese
people and
dancing.
burst into sing and dance. Yeah.
That happens in the Victorian era, right? Very real.
No, by that I mean like the kind of like the musical, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
background.
Sound score.
Yeah,
The
the
sound
score.
score. That's
Okay.
exactly what I mean. Sorry, wrong use of terminology there. And
But
I think
that adds to the film, I suppose. It
that's
makes it
the
more
film, so, like,
visceral,
you know,
doesn't
Of
it?
course.
so you watch her and she sat there and you hear her breathing,
Oh,
and that's something, like that
It's
adds
subtle.
to the
the
or
environment
it's like
and
the
the atmosphere.
footsteps that you hear, or
Right.
like the gust of wind, and those are the kind of sounds that the director picks up on mostly. Not there's very little music
Added
in the
music.
background, which I think
Good
is
stuff.
I
refreshing.
think the score is very important. I think go back to Ghost in the Shell again. but
Yeah.
they missed out the score. Like the score for that movie is amazing, and they just did not make full use of it in the movie.
The original
just
film.
lost.
Yeah.
So much charm, and I think that made it so special. So
It's
you're right about
amazing
this.
how much sound can make
Oh,
a
yeah,
difference
I
to the
mean,
way
like,
very
you
much so,
watch
right?
it, you
Hans
watch it.
Zimmer will have
And in this
testified to that. You know, I
case-
mean, the score can
Yeah.
really
Exactly.
make or break a
I
film.
mean, if there's Hans Zimmer there, I'm all
I mean,
over
we can have a
it.
Hans Zimmer
Lord of the Rings
debate
or
later on,
Titanic,
what is
right?
the best soundtrack? But yeah, I
Imagine
agree
Lord of the Rings without the soundtrack. You just can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing.
So,
But in this case, like less was definitely more.
Right.
Yeah.
so great.
That's
So,
great. So, what would you say if you were to summarize the film
your review.
in a short review?
My summary of the film would be: not everything is as you expect it to be,
Right.
which isn't really a summary, but I would say it was. The performances were captivating. The script was bold, and what was the other thing I wrote? and I just loved the way it was shot so naturally and beautifully.
Right.
Yeah.
You love the
managed
whole,
to
So-
tell
the whole
this
down
sort
to
of-
earth.
You
Yeah.
recommend we watch
Absolutely recommend.
it, and so we shall.
Not a bad job, man. On the first job, man. Great review.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've only
with
had to
the
look at
review.
my notes once. So, you know.
You'll
Not
get used to it
bad.
the
But
next time, obviously. Anyway, that takes us to our final review of the show, Alien Covenant, a film we've all been, well, some of us have been anticipating for a while. Another film by Ridley Scott, one of the greatest directors of all time, although some would say he's lost a lot of his charm.
He did hit back in The Martian. I love The Martian. See The Martian?
Yes, I mean, yeah.
Now the
Yeah,
return to
I've
form.
not seen that.
Oh, it's amazing.
I think it looks boring, but
Oh,
I've heard.
it's not.
No, it is very, very
Because it came out at the
interesting.
same time as Interstellar, right?
I
came
like
after
The
No,
Martian.
it came after Interstellar.
Was it
Yeah,
around? Probably.
But like around the same sort of time.
Similar, maybe a
Yeah.
year gap in
Oh,
between.
is there your guy?
Yeah.
So maybe not.
Interstellar
In the
was
grand scheme of
pretty.
life,
Yeah.
that's pretty close together. I suppose.
Yeah, if that is Interstellar, that's Martian.
Yeah.
Martian is much,
Martian.
much
But
better.
obviously, Martian and Alien Covenant are
Oh,
worlds apart.
yes,
Yeah.
people don't explode.
Flowed
Yeah.
from their chests and their backs, and yeah.
Backs, front, mouth, everywhere. But yeah,
Yeah, the film is directed by Ridley Scott. It stars our favorite hero, Michael Fassbender, and also the lady from.
She has a name.
Catherine,
Because she's very new.
Catherine Waterstone.
Yeah, Catherine
Yeah, Fantastic
Waterstone, but
Beasts,
she's from
Steve Jobs.
from Steve Jobs and Fantastic Beasts.
I am a fan of
I was
hers.
definitely gonna mention her name. I was definitely gonna
The
mention her name.
lady.
I wasn't gonna stop at that. I was definitely gonna mention her name. But
Dramatic
just
build.
it helps if you recognize someone from a different
Yeah.
film.
That's true.
But anyway, the film follows the crew of a colony ship again, just as Prometheus, just as Alien 1, just as Aliens 2, and every of the other
let's not
aliens.
talk about Alien Resurrection.
Or Alien versus Predators. But yeah, the crew of the colony ship, they're bound for a remote planet where they discovered an uncharted paradise with a threat beyond their imagination. This is copy-pasted from Wikipedia. And they now must attempt a harrowing escape from all the troubles besieging them. So, Abu, you're unfortunately the only one who's seen it. I tried seeing it, couldn't get out of prison early enough.
Firstly, I wouldn't really call it paradise. It just has wheat on the land. It looks like earth and
Wheat?
Yes.
Like
that's
actual edible wheat.
Yes.
And this is not Earth.
That's like, I really wouldn't call it
Wait,
paradise.
why would
Firstly,
why
It's
would it be
just-
called paradise?
I don't know. Like it's just
As
like
in-
it's just like a general. It looks just like random field,
All
right.
some forest.
Hey, heaven is a place on earth. Don't forget that.
Of
I don't know.
course.
Joking. And that's
It's just I just
that's
stood
a-
out. I really wouldn't call that planet a paradise, but yeah. Yeah. So where to start? If you've watched.
So what's going on in the film? Give us
So we
like
got the crew.
who
so
have we
this
got?
takes place after Prometheus. So Prometheus.
Oh, is it a direct sequel then?
Yes, a direct sequel. So if it was Prometheus,
Mhm.
this will kind of flow right into it. But I haven't really watched Prometheus actually. I
You
haven't really
haven't watched
Did
Prometheus?
you not do what I do,
I just-
which is read the
I
plot
did,
on Wikipedia?
I did it afterwards actually,
Okay.
just to get a better feel
Right.
of this movie because I'm not really gonna.
To be honest, you haven't missed much. It was
Yeah.
such a
So I,
strange film.
I read up on Prometheus, so it follows on from that. So you have a new spaceship that's going to find its calling, as you said, and they get distracted by this side planet, like saying, "Well, this planet's only a couple of weeks away. The one we're supposed to go to 7 years away. Let's make a decision." And they decide to go
Oh,
to
right.
the one closest because one of the people die earlier in the films, or very early in the films, someone dies in the pods. So they're like, "Oh, we don't want to go back in that pod,
Right.
into this high Pacific game. We'd rather
Yeah.
just take the
Oh, to go to sleep, like deep sleep. or
yeah,
something,
because
right.
when they escape, because they had to escape due to emergency, one of them perished. So they're
Ah, right.
they're very like, we don't want to go. Like, let's just
But yeah,
take a part and go to this island. So I mean, what I loved about the film is Ridley Scott's like only his alien feel is encapsulated perfectly here, so you can tell it's a Ridley Scott.
Are these
movie.
the same aliens as the?
No. These are like earlier aliens, so they are not actually called the
Excuse me.
xenomorphs. They're called like nanomorphs. They're like an early.
Nano? So are they like small, cute?
They're like not. They kind of look very. Some of them look a bit humanoid. They're like kind of like in the early process of becoming what
They
they
have
are.
quite long faces, do they not?
Yeah, they have like a big long skull.
Yeah.
This is the,
Those are
this-
the xenomorphs.
Yeah, these are like
Right,
the fully
okay,
grown ones in
okay.
the old films. This is like
Yeah.
beforehand.
Right.
So this shows you how they became these
Right.
aliens.
Oh, so in their process of
yeah,
evolution.
they're like evolving basically.
Right.
So this film kind of explores how they evolved and how they ended up on the planet they end up on.
Right.
So yeah, so the aliens look a bit. They look a bit more humanoid. Like some of them walk a bit. They can kind of talk. You can tell like they got features of a face.
They can talk,
And
really.
they're kind of like struggling to speak. You can tell they're trying to speak and
Right.
So they're like early aliens basically. So that's that background. So I mean, Fassbender I think is the best part of the movie. So he's a quite.
Is he still the robot?
Yeah, so
Android.
basically,
Android.
So, yeah, so it's got the old robot from Prometheus, which his name was David, and you got and like because this mission's happening later on, you got the newer model of him, but it also looks just like him called Walter. So
Right.
you have like it's like Terminator. We got the old robot and the one who's futurist.
Updating software.
Yeah.
No ransomware disturbing you
So
now.
most of the film revolves around him and their both character arc and what they plan to do, and I think he really carries this film. 'Cause I don't think.
Just as the first other
Yeah.
film.
I don't think was it Catherine Waters. I don't think she's as strong in that lead. She's a bit timid in a sense.
Right.
I know Ripley in the original, she's timid, but she grows and becomes this like confident.
Superwoman.
Yeah, but in this one, she just kind of stays a bit timid throughout the entire movie. So
And I think we were talking about this earlier because
Yeah.
the way you described her, I was like, was it the same as when she
yeah.
was in Fantastic Beasts as
Yeah,
well? You
it's
know,
just
kind
like
of
she doesn't really have that.
Yeah,
feel.
she plays a timid person there as well.
Yeah.
She's kind of got that. She's
I
kind
think
of.
she does look good, but in
Oh, yeah, she
Steve
does,
Jobs she
yeah.
doesn't. In Steve Jobs she
Oh,
is
yeah,
kind
you're
of
right.
like somewhere between vulnerable but feisty as well. In Steve
Yeah.
Jobs, and I think
Yeah.
that's when I first saw her, and I was like, there's something about her which is
Yeah.
quite striking.
Yeah, so I think she's just not as memorable in the lead role, and I think Fassbender really delivers. He does a lot of the performance, a lot of the story lines revolve around his thing, and he really does a convincing job there.
Right.
I'd say it's not too confusing actually in a sense. So films can get
Was
very
it supposed
these kind
to
of films can get very geeky.
Okay.
All these terms of because I read in the law, it's very.
So it's more
complicated.
accessible to the general
So yeah, I
people.
kind of went in about watching Prometheus, and I kind of got a gist of it. I mean, there are a few bits I didn't understand, but reading up on it, I kind of okay, that makes sense.
Ah,
so
right.
for people who aren't too familiar with the law, they can still watch this and not get totally bogged down with the geek terms and xenomorphs, nanomorphs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The engineers like what? So
Do they have engineers here as well?
yeah, engineers.
Right.
They kind of hint to them as well. So
But just to be clear, so Michael Fassbender, he plays David, the alien.
no, he's not an alien.
He's
an
an android. He's like a robot.
Yeah.
So basically, what these robots do, they're the ones who run the ship while
Okay.
they're in cryo sleep.
Yeah.
Because if they're asleep, no one can. So he's like a robot, who just runs the ship throughout the
Right,
entire.
okay.
Because doesn't have to rest. He can do.
Yeah.
So every mission has like an android on their team just to
Okay.
do the maintenance work.
So who are the aliens then?
The aliens on the
'Cause
planet.
It's yeah.
So the planet they go down
So
to
why is would this be giving it away?
depends how much you wanna.
Because obviously I read the plot. So Michael Fassbender, why is he the way he is?
No, so
Because
the
that's
one who's
us.
left on the planet. So they come back later on and they find him on the planet.
Oh, so is it that
But-
they're
but-
going back to the original planet of Prometheus 1?
That's yeah.
Ah,
But I don't get
that
any
makes
more
sense.
I don't get any more into it.
Okay,
'cause then
okay.
that will,
Yeah.
okay.
Also, I think it's very violent, so it's very like bloody.
So how
It's-
graphic? So
It's pretty
like
graphic.
aliens
one
bursting
alien.
out chests, bats.
I mean, I'm kind of used to the chest. So I've
Ropes.
seen that enough times now. It's
Right.
kind of weird. I mean, it's bursting out of the spinal cord at the back. One comes out through the mouth and just
And
like,
how
drops
and
out.
how's the graphics like? Does it start off like
I think
does it start off slow and you can see
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
veins bursting?
like the
and
first
then
one that
there's-
happens is like
Oh, right.
it's building up for like 10 minutes. And
Right.
at the end,
For 10
doing
minutes.
this and like
Painful death, my
Yeah.
god.
so.
And is it painful for them? Like
Oh, yeah.
as in like is it like
Oh yeah, they're
are
dead.
they screaming in agony
Of course they.
or 1 minute are they just
Oh, this is
"Ah-dee-da."
fun.
No. They're when something's breaking through your spinal cord,
I mean,
they're not like
painful.
oh okay, it's 10 o'clock.
Happens to
yeah.
me all the time. Yeah,
But
I know
mean,
the feeling.
it is very bloody and gory. So if you're a bit squeamish, it might not be the movie for you. I mean, a lot of people die in this movie, standard, but some of the deaths are quite hard hitting. And see
Right.
I wasn't expecting to be that
What
bloody
was
to
it,
be
like a
honest.
15?
It's got to be an 18, right?
Right.
It must be an 18.
If
That
they
amount
show
of
blood, that much blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because even the originals, I don't remember them being that gory.
Mhm.
This is like just
In fact, Prometheus, the first one, wasn't at all that gory. There were a
so-
few scenes, but I think they edited the blood out because they wanted to
Yeah.
get the PG-13.
I think one thing I do want to mention is that I think the aliens here kind of look a bit. They don't look that scary as they did in the originals. I think it's the CGI. Because I'm so used to CGI, and you kind of know that's fake. I think like back in the originals they used people in outfits and stuff, so it looked a lot more realistic. And you can tell in this one, like it's all CGI. It just doesn't feel.
Really?
Yeah, if you watch, you kind of feel like
that's interesting.
Because you watch the originals, right? Because an actual costume is physically being made.
Yeah,
and
in fact,
it's still like you'd see like a bullet go through someone, and then like the blood would just like spread out like a fountain.
But you can't, but it's all fake. It's like just CGI. But if you watch the originals, you kind of notice it's a lot more intimidating. I don't know what it is.
In
the
fact,
CGI, it just looks a bit. You can't know. Oh, that's all fake. It's just some guy.
That was the same case with Prometheus as well. I also missed the suited alien.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of prosthetics involved, but you can tell most of it was CGI. It kind of does take a bit away from the fear.
Yeah.
So I would say this film it's nowhere near as scary as the originals. There's not enough tension. They kind of show the aliens quite often.
Right.
Whereas you kind of want there to be a suspense, and you kind of know when the alien's going to show up. It's just so predictable.
Do the aliens still have the tails?
Yes, they do.
What's special about the tails?
They stab you with them.
Yeah, that's a very.
So I mean, that's not one of the bad things. I said it's just too predictable. You just know when someone's going to bite the dust. Someone's like, yo, I'm just going to go take a leak. You know he's going to.
Of course, yeah.
Someone's in the shower. You know they're going to die. It's just, and the music is it's like.
Oh, it gives it away.
Like you said, in the original, it was hard to tell like who's going to.
It's like in that situation, why would you do anything by yourself?
Yeah,
you're going to die.
It's just like I kind of knew who's going to die in what sequences. I kind of took that away. I thought make it a bit less predictable. Like. It just stabs them out of nowhere, they're dead. And this one kind of got this one, then that one, and it's just like a bit too. It's just one thing I didn't like. It's just a bit too formulaic, and I thought, it could make it a lot more unpredictable. Yeah. But rather than telegraphing who's gonna die, but like, they accentuate the score. The score goes up to build tension. I'm like,
but is the narrative progression well done? Because a lot of the times, even if things are predictable,
but I kind of know where it was all going early on in the movie. You kind of know where this is all going.
I heard some reviews saying it's very slow to begin with. Is that what you found as well?
It takes a while for them to get to the planet. Probably takes like an hour before even.
Just to get to the planet?
I know, I didn't have a watch movie, but it felt like an hour. It's a 2-hour movie.
It feels like an hour.
So it's like, come on,
exactly.
I don't want to see. And one last thing, one back in the car, the crew is totally unlikable.
Unlikable.
Like, not a single person there's one, Danny McBride.
So interesting that you said that.
Danny McBride's character is really, I liked his character. He's really cool. Yeah. Like he's got a bit of weight, and you kind of can see he's very loving. The other guys just thought if they die, they die. I will not have a second's remorse for them.
So you're happy if they all die?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same problem happened in life.
I mean, either they were really unlikable, or you have stone cold.
They were unlikable in the sense like the stuff they did, kind of just die.
You're dumb.
There's a scene like where like we need to go down to planet and save them. They're like,
you deserve to die.
Yeah, we don't need to save them. I'm like, why? Just because them two who are a couple are up there, they're fine. Like, it's okay. But I've got my wife's side. I want to go.
So they die for being selfish.
No, they die in the long run. But it's one of the things. And there's another one with the crew, the captain of the crew. He doesn't want to give the guy who does at the beginning a funeral. He's like, no, you can't show him any respect.
Why not?
Because he's got a lot of saltiness in him. He's very bitter that he wasn't captured. But it's just like all that says, like, why make him so unhateable? Like there's no reason to make him so. You don't need to have another villain. The villain is the alien. You need to engineer some other character to hate. I felt that was a bit bad.
So Alien Covenant, that obviously happened 11 years after the Prometheus. Prometheus.
Oh really? 11 years after?
Yeah, I read somewhere. So was it always like advertised as, this is after 11 years?
Oh yeah, because it does mention at one point this is the spaceship from the Prometheus mission. So
would you say like it kind of lived up to that expectation?
Oh, I haven't watched Prometheus. I don't know. I just never got a chance to see it. It's one of those films that just passed by.
You haven't missed much,
really.
Does it make
you want to watch Prometheus?
Not really, no. I've kind of read up on it. Okay, fair enough. Kind of got what happened in that movie.
Unless you're a Fassbender fan, though. Yeah. Fassbender really, really.
Oh, you loved it. If you're a Fassbender fan, you loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I have
the first film was the first time when my eyes opened up to Fassbender and his acting chops. Before that, I'd only seen him in, I can't remember what, but he's
X-Men Magneto.
Yeah, exactly, X-Men Magneto. And I thought, he's just another actor. Yeah. But here, so he's an android, right? He doesn't have, the David character in Prometheus didn't have emotions. But he tried to empathize with humans because that's how he was programmed. And pulling off a robot who doesn't show emotions, but even still tries to empathize with humans is a very, very difficult task to pull off when you're if in the perspective of acting, right? And he just nails it, absolutely nails it. And that in itself is the reason why I would say watch Prometheus. But having said that, the rest of the film is so crap. Maybe
Just
if
watch
you're
it even just for Michael Fassbender.
Yeah. So I mean, good things. Fassbender's great. The sci-fi film directing by Ridley Scott's on point. It's great for first timers to get into, and it's pretty fun. I find it more fun than scary, to be honest.
Right.
So my review is fun yet predictable. Like, you know what's gonna happen.
But would you say we should watch it?
You should definitely watch it.
Definitely watch
yeah,
it,
I mean,
really?
I would say you should
I
definitely
mean, I am
watch it.
terrified of horror films.
Oh, don't worry.
Anything that's
Really?
so if it's a psychological horror film, you know, where you kind of hear
Like,
footsteps,
it's not
and then
a
suddenly a
cerebral.
little girl is hanging from like. You
No,
know,
there's no like creepy little girls in the mirror. There's none of that. There's no.
got
psychological- this is-
nanomorphs.
But you know, aliens bursting from chests.
But it's kind of
fine,
obvious
that's fine.
That's
I
fine,
can
yeah.
deal with
Everyday stuff for
But you got
us.
like 10 minutes to prepare for you because you know it's gonna happen. But
Right.
yeah, so yeah, and yeah, it's the action, like the gore is quite fun actually. So if you like that kind of stuff, you like seeing that stuff.
Only you do, mate.
I mean, it's fun.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
So yeah,
I'm sure that is
yeah,
fun.
so my review is fun but a bit predictable, like very predictable actually. So
Good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely watch it. I'll
Oh,
see
it's
how
worth
it
a watch,
works.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
just for Fassbender alone, he's so great.
yeah.
I think you should-
Yeah, definitely watch out for our review on our website, thesilverscreenshow.com. We regularly post reviews of all the films we review here. So I'll definitely put something on for Alien Covenant.
Yeah, and also while mentioning, our podcast is now up on iTunes, so if you're on
Indeed,
iTunes,
it is.
subscribe and get listening on the tube or when you're bored at work.
Yeah, we've got the
Maybe.
links on our
Either way.
Facebook. We've got the links on our Facebook page from where you can go to all the places. Anyway, I think that really wraps up our show for today.
That was a big
Big show, yeah, nearly an hour. But some good films, one bad film.
Next month looks great though. Mummy, Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Indeed, yeah.
Okay,
I
you
am
want to
so
like-
looking forward to Mummy. Even though it looks more like a Nathan Drake,
I
Uncharted.
haven't seen a trailer for that yet, actually.
Tom
but
Cruise.
I-
Anything with Tom Cruise is a win. He does. He never.
Surely
really-
yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Can't say I'm the biggest fan.
Well, that's
That
not. That's
will
not
make-
what
that
he
will make
I'm not a
me-
fan of him, but I'm a fan of his films
That's
because he
enough.
always
Yeah,
chooses
yeah,
the best
yeah,
films.
yeah,
He
definitely
chooses
films more than-
class films.
That's
Age of Tomorrow, I still can't forget how good it is.
You mean Edge of Tomorrow? Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow. Did I say Age?
Before we do call it a wrap, have you heard the name for the sequel for that film?
Which one?
Edge
Oh
of Tomorrow.
God. Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat. That's the name of the sequel.
Oh dear.
Who
Oh,
even
yeah.
comes up with that name?
They're gonna drop
The
that
same
on.
team who came up with the first name, I
So Tom
suppose.
Cruise is in that, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's only because Tom Cruise is in it. Could they get away with that?
It's called Live, Die, and Repeat.
No,
friend.
the-
But that's and repeat at the end. Like that. Just
Hiftu, the first film,
It's
is one of the best sci-fi films I've seen in the last decade. It is one film to definitely watch. I've watched it
and
numerous
it's a great
times.
concept.
Yeah, great concept. I've watched it numerous times,
And
and I'm so like, hyped up for the next film coming up. But I just don't get what's wrong with the marketing team. The first
Is it
film,
like full stop and repeat or dash and
No,
repeat?
it's just and repeat.
Colon and repeat.
No, it's
like Anne, there's no
Just
colon.
Anne-
Yeah,
just Google
You know how-
Google
yeah.
it after the show.
What?
and realise.
such a grammar Nazi
I
you
know.
are. But yeah, I'm hyped up for the film. I just hope they do a good job with the
I love how
marketing.
we just jump to this now.
I know,
Our
like,
film
let's
isn't
just
it?
talk about next month's
Yeah.
Yeah.
films.
Next month there were
Fine.
great films coming up. Obviously, it's the summer season, so
Oh,
definitely
100%.
stay tuned. Until then, we'll wrap it up for today. I
Have a
hope to
good
see you in the
night.
next one. Yeah, have a
And
good night.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, Hiftu.
Bye.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
See ya.